listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We got some Elimination Chamber to talk about. As always, here to break it down with me, I am one half of your hosting team, Micah, otherwise known as Mr. Scoop. But on the other end of the line, the historian of the Scoop Slam Podcast, he is Mr. Slam himself. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, good to be back here with you. Got a little bit to talk about, got Chamber, maybe a little Raw. And we're gonna talk about what was in the box, and yeah, let's just get into it, man. Get into it.
And I'm sure towards the end of the show, there's a potential that we could have a random person in a black hoodie and a mask run in, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we're a little bit more creative than that.
They should sell that merch on WWE Shop. Why is a black hoodie not available to be purchased?
Or even just a ski mask.
Hoodie. You need to ski. Can we get a Pooh Shiesty?
There we go. Put the WWE logo right on the forehead. You know they love their branding.
Okay. Yeah, I buy it. Maybe Dude Wipes can be the sponsor.
There we go. All the sponsors on it, like the GTA ski masks that just have all the brands on it.
Okay. All right. I'm in.
Well, anyways, we're more creative in those 2 minutes than they were for the pay-per-view, but we got to break it down, ladies and gentlemen. Elimination Chamber. They started us off with the Women's Elimination Chamber to determine who was going to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship. And the chamber consisted of Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and Raquel Rodriguez. To start us off, I got just a couple quick hitters. While we haven't necessarily been tuned into Tiffy time, I did think that she did a good job here of being the one to take the big bumps. I thought she really was like the best, I don't want to say worker in this, but they just kind of abused her most of the match. Like if there was a big spot, she was going to be the one taking it. She nearly killed herself a little later trying to jump off the cage. Almost landed straight on her neck, but Raquel caught her luckily just in time. But I thought she looked pretty good in there.
I think they were spotlighting Kiana James a lot too.
Yeah, she surprised me. We didn't get to it last week, but in her qualifying match, I was like, she's actually not somebody I've seen a lot, but is that a pretty good hand to have, from everything I've seen.
It seems like we all thought that Kiana was just there to get Julia over, but it seems like Kiana's just getting herself over. But she got bigger reactions than Julia has ever got on the main roster.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kiana's just going to translate better. I don't know about her on the mic necessarily, but just as a...
Julia doesn't speak any English. Does she? She doesn't, right?
As far as I know, I don't believe so.
I haven't heard any of her promos. Crazy that they paired her... Oh, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of the thing of like, it's the thing we talked about a couple weeks ago where it's like WWE could do better by their foreign talent just with like the backstage vignettes and the pre-tapes with subtitles. Because I don't think that Julia has the natural charisma that like Io Sky has to get herself over.
Yeah, and that's what I think the WrestleMania match is probably going to be. With Io Sky, because it seems like Triple H does love Io Sky, so I don't think Io Sky is going to get left off that WrestleMania card. And I'm wondering why they pulled that Julia Io Sky match off the SmackDown card, because they got announced for I think it was last SmackDown. It got announced, and then out of nowhere it got Rhea Ripley stepped in for Io Sky. So I guess that's the Mania match, Julia versus Io. Does anybody want to see that?
I'm sure it'll appeal to a certain subsection. I think it'll be a good match, but I
Really?
don't really know how long they'll give them.
What's the story there? Just doing an open challenge? That seems to be the solution to everything if you don't have a story. Open challenge.
Run in.
Run in or open challenge. Or mask man.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got 50 something days to WrestleMania. We'll see how they get there. That's what,
That's
as a
insane.
big blanket term, I know it doesn't feel like it's that close. Uh a lot of people are dogging on WWE for the past month for the Danhausen build and all that going into WrestleMania, which I understand. The road to WrestleMania starts at Royal Rumble, but the way the WWE works
You
now,
just
they
blame.
have
No,
such
hold
a.
up now. Paul, you just gonna blame Danhausen for the whole WrestleMania bill?
I'm
Come
just
on now.
quoting.
Oh, you're quoting. Oh, okay. Just
Yeah,
quoting.
I'm just
Seems like
quoting.
that's what you think. That's what it seems like to me. Seems like that's what you think.
Well,
Danhausen's to blame. Blaming
what
Danhausen. Blame Hausen.
I was about to say, we'll get to blame Hausen later, but I think that people don't understand since they've shifted WrestleMania back to mid-April instead of early April that the build starts more now in this stretch because they don't have any pay-per-views for March. So this is where we get the really loaded shows. And I think it shows with the episode of Raw that we got that I thought was really good. Um
Yeah.
but honestly, like the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble is you loading up in your car to get on the road. But Elimination Chamber is when you pull out of the driveway, right? Like now you're on it. And
And
so
shout out to them picking up 3 guys on the way to the road to WrestleMania and building them up as stars: Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Obafemi. That's a hard thing to do before Mania, to build up 3 talent like that. But yeah, keep on going with your thought, Mike. I'm sorry, I had to butt in there.
no, you're good because I agree with you. And we'll talk about Trick and Javon in the men's chamber. But I think we're finally like here now. So now I'm very interested to see what they do because obviously we were down on last year's build to Mania. And I do like some of the decisions they had here, some decisions they had on Raw. We'll kind of wrap them all in. But as far as the women's elimination chamber, I thought that there was a cool moment with the double pin with Raquel.
Stacked them.
I just thought that was such a visual, you know what I mean? First off, the ladies actually had their shoulders both on the mat, which sometimes gets a little hokey. They don't catch it and they just count it as a pin. But they've really put the machine behind Raquel recently to like build her up as a monster, and I thought this was a perfect way to do so.
I thought they could have had the chance, or they could have pivoted to, if Raquel was to win this chamber, maybe she flips the script and says that she wants to face Stephanie Vaquer at Mania, and then you got a Judgment Day Civil War with Liv, Raquel, and Stephanie's there too. You could have did something like that if they wanted to. But yeah, I agree. They were building up Raquel for the last couple of months actually, and the double pin was quite the sight.
Yeah, which that was my prediction early on was the triple threat, but I can understand why they did it, and I'm not going to complain because we're multi-man to death. But
Remember last?
ultimate,
You remember when Roman stacked up Edge and Daniel Bryan, sent them to
oh
AEW?
yeah, that was the first WrestleMania I had watched since like 31, and I honestly thought Edge was going to win, but that's before I really knew just how
I was glad.
dominant the Tribal Chief was.
I was glad. That was the last thing I wanted was Edge to win.
I'm sure you were. But ultimately, Rhea picked up the win here. I thought the finishing sequence was good, and I wasn't sure going into this who was going to win, but coming out of it, I don't see how Rhea wasn't the obvious choice. Obviously, she's the biggest star they have in the women's division, and I think that it will be a big match. It's not quite as big as Bianca versus Rhea, but I think it's just under that, just because Jade's, kind of new. We don't really know a whole lot about her yet, you know, but I think this still has star potential.
Yeah, it's a big money match, and the way they've been promoting it on social media has got people buzzing. So they're off to a great start. Are you in the camp that the Rhea Jade, what do you call that? Kerfuffle online Twitter
Beef.
spat? Yeah. What are you in the camp of? Are we working or are we shooting there, pal?
I think we're working. I think
Yeah.
they got a lot of intrigue on it because otherwise they probably wouldn't have. And let's just be honest, right? It's easier to talk your junk on Twitter or online than it is to do it in person. So,
That's true.
going into Friday, I'm sure some people were looking forward to their face off, but now everybody's looking forward to that face off.
Are we getting a repeat of Tiffy and Charlotte in ring promo from last year?
I certainly hope not. I was not a fan of that, especially coming out of it, and then everybody like wanted to dog on poor Charlotte. Everybody's like, "Oh, look at she completely owned her," and then come to find out, Charlotte was actually going through some rough times of her own,
Yeah,
and but people forget to humanize these people. Uh,
that's true.
I've always been in Charlotte's camp, but that's neither here nor there.
The Rhea stands have been out and about since that whole Jade tweeting. What did she even tweet? Did she tweet about Rhea politicking backstage or something?
Yeah, so it's what I'm working on here to get it pulled up.
Yeah,
Someone at Today in Hysteria tweeted,
oh god.
so Rhea Ripley goes to her 7th WrestleMania in a row. She'll have competed for a belt in every single one of them, which was the NXT Championship at one of the COVID WrestleManias, the Raw Women's, then the Tag, then the SmackDown Women's, both World Heavyweight Women's, and now the WWE Women's Championship. Rhea retweeted this and said, "Guess I'm that B."
So it was
So
Rhea
then,
lighting the dynamite.
yes, Rhea initially lit this fire. Jade retweets that and says, "No, boo, you were the second option." With the nails painted emoji. She said, "At me next time so I see it."
Hmm.
So Rhea comments back to her and sends 2 videos where Jade said that she would like to wrestle Rhea at some point in time since she signed. This was early in Jade's initial debut with WWE, and they were, "Oh, who would you like to face?" That type stuff. And she said Rhea. So, Jade then retweeted that and said, "Ha, I just be talking," with the little eye water emojis and the fingers pointed. She said, "And which member of our social team found that video for you? Because we know they always have to find a way to keep you on top going into Mania."
Hmm. Is she lying though?
I mean, I don't know.
No.
7 straight Manias.
All right. Yeah, that's a lot.
So then Rhea replies to that and says, "All you do is talk, and that's literally it." And Jade replies back, "Talk like the hours you spend talking to creative." Once again, fingernails painted emoji.
I
Rhea
don't
comes
like.
back,
I don't like that.
"The hours you spend talking to creative."
Yeah, that's a little too inside baseball for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know how we are here on the pod.
Yeah,
Cena did that same crap last year. Well, Cena made a career out of it, but
he did.
we've let him ride off into the sunset here. Rhea replies, "You're funny. That's funny. Now we know you really do be talking out of your A because everything you say is BS. Don't spread lies on my name, you dumb B."
And now we know your character. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we know your character. Oh, makes me think of that Shannon Sharp clip where he's like, "For 20 million, I go to hell." So then Jade retweets that and says, "Oh God, another victim. Will you girls lighten up and stop crying? We haven't even started yet, boo." And at this point, Chelsea Green got involved and
Piper
Piper.
Niven too. Yeah. They all
Yeah,
jumped in.
I don't know if you want to go down that
Or the
rabbit hole in terms of reading those tweets, but you can find that for yourself. Rhea then posted something on her, I believe,
was IG.
Instagram story.
Yeah.
And it said, "Not having fun, not friends, learn to work, and never lie to defame someone's real human character by breaking the fourth wall." Uh, and that's really the last we got. So I don't know if maybe it was a work. Jade maybe went a little too far. That remains to be seen. But again, their promo exchange on SmackDown looks a little bit like
Is it
must-see TV.
Are the tweets still up? If the tweets are still up, then of course this is all storyline based. Because if
Yeah.
the office really had a problem with it, they would tell them to take it down. We've seen that happen before.
Yeah, the tweets are still up. I just read them
Yeah.
straight from Twitter or X.com.
So I mean, how gullible do you have to be to think this is anything but a work? Just a work shoot, if anything.
Yeah. That's like, dude, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a TikTok replying to this because without being disrespectful, this might be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like, it almost has to be satire. But this guy was talking about how Punk was allowed to take these jabs at Roman about his dad that Roman wouldn't be allowed to take with Punk because we all know that he'll get mad and cause a brawl out situation. Like,
Oh,
Roman can't mention AJ or Larry or any, like, that's literally what he went to, as if we haven't gotten that with Drew, with Braun Breaker,
yeah.
with like Seth. Like, come on now, be for real. That's what I'm saying. Like, it almost had to be satire, or you lack media literacy. But
Yeah,
I
you
digress.
do know it's fake, right, pal?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Like they discuss these things, bro. I mean, they're not going out there and just, hey, what if I just bring up his dead father right here?
Yeah.
Like, come on, what?
They're not just going out there and bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with it. Like, you talk a big game about workers' rights. That's,
Oh, what? Who would do that?
that was not cleared before, and therein lies
What?
the issue.
Well, who would do that? Some empty-headed cowboy? Okay, good man.
You fill in the blanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought Rhea was the right choice, and it will
Yeah,
be,
but
a big match on paper.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a marquee match. Chamber was the women's chamber, I will say, better than the men's chamber.
Oh yeah, 100%. As far as the next match, we've got for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch.
Now, let me stop you right here. This is the part in the show where I was really concerned about the crowd because they didn't get up for AJ or Becky here. Like, even in the entrances. Like, you remember that pop that AJ Lee got when she came back in Chicago on SmackDown?
Yeah.
What the hell happened to that? Where are those fans at?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just the United Center. Well, I say that can't be it,
It's,
because you remember when Punk returned on that Rampage. I mean, it was deafening.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
So I know they've got a way to mic it, but I don't know if maybe the realization of paying $1,200 for your seat was like really hitting these people, but they were quiet. they got up for the Punk match, but
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
men's chamber, and we'll talk about it. And this match right here, I mean, you could have heard somebody drop a pin.
It was very like this is Chicago. This is other than New York City, Chicago is probably the second best wrestling city in the United States. And I don't know what happened to the fans in Chicago.
I don't know.
I think AEW killed all of the enthusiasm for wrestling in Chicago.
I'll give him another shot. You know, I won't doom him after this, but like remember Chicago was the wrestling hotbed at one point that got, you
Yeah,
know, a
it was.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And
Great city.
now ugh,
Oh man, this crowd wasn't it. This is the I wanted to bring this up earlier. The second show that WWE's ever run in the United Center. The first one was like SummerSlam. I want to say it was 94, 95.
I want
Might
to
have
say
been
it was
Super
94 because I saw somebody with a sign that said,
95.
I hope I'm
About to
not
talk.
too late. Yeah, it's Tatanka or where's Tatanka versus Lex or something like that. Great
Yeah.
sign.
Oh yeah, great. But yeah, this is the second time they run the United Center in 30. Well, actually, ever. Yeah, second time ever.
That's kind of crazy considering I guess maybe it's just because, well, no, I was going to say maybe because the Bulls
It's
Arena, but
cheaper.
they run stuff all the time.
It's cheaper, and the acoustics sound better at the Allstate Arena. You know, the old Rosemont Horizon.
Uh, okay. I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the match goes, AJ impressed me here. I I
Okay.
certainly was not sure what to expect, but I thought she looked crisper than I originally had imagined. Maybe it was Becky, maybe AJ was just on her game. But I didn't see as many holes in this as I thought that I was going to up until probably the finishing sequence.
I think the AJ Lee hate train is like reached at his peak at this point because there was a lot of people that were dogging this match online, Micah. And I really just thought it was an okay match. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was anything egregious. I mean, maybe they looked a little gassed at the end, but I didn't think there was anything wrong with this. I don't want them to run this back at WrestleMania, but as far as the match goes, it was there. The crowd wasn't into it. I mean, they got into it at the end, but
Yeah, I mean, you know, we usually judge harsher than most, but I thought that it really like it wasn't. I won't give it the term like paint by the numbers. Like I was interested in it, but by no means was it like it was neither a barn burner nor just the worst thing I had ever seen. I think AJ loses me more in her promos than her in-ring ability, and it'll come back with reps, obviously. But for this being her first singles match back, I really didn't see anything that I was just like, "Oh god, like she's washed." You know what I mean?
I thought it was booked pretty well at the end with the whole Jessica Carr situation, which it seems like they are building something up there still. They have to be, right? This has been an ongoing thing. So I would think personally that this is a vessel to get to a Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr match. How strange that is. I mean, but it will be an attraction for WrestleMania. But maybe a AJ Lee faces a Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania instead of running this thing back again, which I don't want to see.
I wouldn't hate it, especially because you know they're similar stature, and two Roxanne is a younger lady who obviously is somebody that's kind of been up under the wing of AJ and Punk. Like, you know, she loves AJ Lee. So I think that would be a cool moment. And if it serves the purpose of like getting them both on the card, then cool. I'm interested to see the story. But AJ said on Raw she was going to be a fighting champion. So, you know, that remains to be seen.
What about the Jessica Carr Becky Lynch? Do you want to see that?
Not at Mania. I'm cool with Backlash.
Oh man, can't make
at
Mania.
Backlash.
that
Uh,
was good.
the Triple H one always kills me. His is so intense for no
Nah,
reason.
there's the RVD cutaway always gets me because they just cut him off mid
Oh
sentence.
yeah, he was about to say something. What he was about to say, no one knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the Backlash 2005 promotional video, please go check that out. Some hilarious stuff.
This is the reason I wish we had video podcasts sometimes, because I would just throw it up like right now at Backlash. Uh, but anyways, I think Becky versus Jessica at Backlash would be a little bit better of like a. I don't want to say.
It's
I
like a
just
freak
think,
show match.
well, not a freak show, but like last year, you kind of had the Pat McAfee Gunther thing. I just don't
An
know that
attraction.
Jessica for her first, yes, an attraction. Like it gives you a reason to like maybe tune in to Backlash for a different reason other than just WrestleMania rematches.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So do you just leave Becky Lynch off the Mania card altogether? I don't
Uh
think everybody needs a Mania match. I don't have a problem with leaving Raw.
yeah, I think this is the territory we're getting towards where I saw a mock card today and it legitimately had two women's matches on it, which
Yeah.
was both women's world championships. I was like, dude, that's not gonna happen. But also,
Yeah.
like, you've got a ton of fluff for the men's matches. Like, we just don't need that.
You'll always see those fantasy book cards and then it'd be like something weird like maybe Sami Zayn's on the card. I don't think that's weird, but still Sami Zayn on the card and then uh somebody say, well, dang, Sami Zayn really don't deserve a marquee match like that. Well, you gotta have Sami Zayn on the card. He's too important to the show. Like, no, you don't need to have Sami Zayn on the card, or you don't need to have Becky Lynch on the card. You have plenty of stars. There's plenty of attractions, and the show is only so long, man. We don't need these 5 hour, 6 hour long WrestleManias each night.
Yeah, that was the purpose of splitting up the two nights.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just bringing it back.
Yeah. It's even better. Double two 8-hour shows that you have to
Ah,
watch every day.
just cancel your
Uh,
plans for Easter.
yeah, nah, throw them out. You know, WrestleMania takes precedent.
Just
That's jokes, ladies and gentlemen.
bury him next to Alpha.
Oh. All right.
I,
Now we're
I'm just saying.
anyways, I thought they had a great false finish with the chair DDT and kick out, which this was the moment where the crowd started to get up for me. Um
Yeah.
and it was a good false finish. Like I legitimately bit on it, not knowing
Yeah.
because I thought, well, maybe Becky gets the win here and they take it into Mania, but obviously that's not what we got. AJ came out on top. And then, you know, going into Mania, she said she was going to be a fighting champion. We'll see what happens between now and then. With Rhea and Liv tied up, and a Becky rematch not really looming, I don't think. I could be surprised. I think Roxanne makes a lot of sense. I don't think Bianca will be back in time.
Well,
Would you?
what about the low key legend, Micah, Natty Neidhart?
Oh my God, no.
They've been building her up.
Yeah, they have. Much to everybody's chagrin. Um, would you, if you don't run EO Julia, could you see AJ versus EO maybe?
That would be marquee. That would be a big match.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Well,
wouldn't hate it. I think it'd be a pretty good match actually. Probably be
yeah.
AJ Lee's best match.
Honestly, that or whenever
I don't
she locks up with Rhea eventually.
I don't know how you can build up a storyline there. Maybe you just say it's just to prove who's better, but I don't like feuds like that. Just I want the old AJ Lee. And I don't like feuds like that.
No. The quirky English teacher teaches the foreign exchange EO
Oh
Sky how to
no.
teach English.
You know what? If they do that, I might be interested.
Oh God.
At least it's a story.
Anyways, I mean, yeah, but is it a good one?
Well,
they
no.
they say they tell stories in AEW. You know, if that's your rebuttal, AEW doesn't tell stories. What do you mean, bro? Okay, let me rephrase that. They don't tell good stories. But anyways, we'll move on to what, in my opinion, should have been the main event here for the World Heavyweight Championship. Chicago's own CM Punk versus
Oof.
Finn Balor.
Excuse me? Who?
Finn Balor, I should
Oh, there you
say.
go. There you go. There you go.
Dubbed by the Scoop Slam podcast.
You know, bro ain't wanna hold up before we get started. You know, Finn Balor, Mr. Penn, has not had a victory, a singles victory outside of Dragon Lee in the last 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years.
I mean, I can
Did
believe
anybody
it
really
though. Like,
expect? Did anybody really expect him to beat CM Goat?
I think, well, I will say this. I saw some Punk haters trying to say
Oh
that they
yeah.
hoped Finn would win. But I
Oh
think that
yeah.
everybody truthfully know in their heart of hearts that Finn Balor was not taking this home.
But like, why though? Why would you want Finn Balor to beat CM Punk? In what world would that make sense? In no way, shape, or form has Finn Balor ever been on CM Punk's level. Ever. Ever. Ever.
Well, Ryan, I think this we'll have to stop here for a quick ad break.
Oh,
Have you or a loved one been affected with potentially hating a man known as Phil Brooks? This condition has been known and coined as punk derangement syndrome. Now,
yes.
while there is no cure, a new medication has arrived for you and your family and for all punk haters out there. And it's called pulling your big boy britches up and realizing that CM Punk is better than your favorite wrestler. Back
Yeah,
to the
we're in the
action.
we're in the wrestling business, kid. We're not in the making friends business. I don't care if CM Punk made your favorite cowboy mad or your favorite gymnast. I don't care if he made them mad or punched them out. I don't care about that. CM Punk makes money, and CM Punk is the greatest of our generation.
Better
Back to
than
the action.
Roman?
I consider Roman a different generation.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's true.
Okay, okay, the best of the last generation, CM Punk was. Roman,
Okay,
best of this
yeah,
generation.
yeah. All right. I got you. I can agree to that one. But yeah, in all seriousness, the punk derangement syndrome that you coined the other day while we were going back and forth about this Finn Balor love,
Yes. Yep, we
uh,
did.
it's a real thing, man. Like, I don't understand it, especially when people are like, I don't know, man. This CM Punk run just isn't doing it for me. Like, why does he come out and say typical babyface things and get himself over with the crowd and try and pop the crowd as a babyface? Like, I want Punk to be a douchebag. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, that's a rabbit hole
What
for another episode.
yeah, the delusional Finn fans make me irrationally angry too, though, Micah. They always want to bring up the demon. Well, guess what? The demon died when Roman Reigns pinned him. What was that? 2023, 2022, when the top rope broke.
I think it was 23.
Did you
Extreme Rules.
did you ever did you watch that match?
I did.
Okay, well the top rope broke, ladies and gentlemen, for those that didn't watch that match. And that was the last time we seen the demon. And quite frankly, that was the last time Finn, Mr. Penn, was ever interesting. It's when he painted up his face and acted like a possessed zombie, whatever you would call that.
And two, they loved. Oh, bro, but Finn was like that in 2016. Okay, so that's fine for Finn, right? 10 years ago is fine for you to love Finn, but when Punk is doing good work today, That's we don't want that, bro. But look at what Finn Balor was doing 10 years ago.
And let me tell you something: the people that were saying that were not. They had to been kids, because there's no way that bland Finn Balor was anything to write home about. When he painted up his face, yes, but when he was just Finn, no, no.
He never has
Name me a
been. And that's my point is like, if, they love to do the D Rose comparison, right? Oh, well, what if he didn't get hurt? Like, bro, no. It was a flash in the pan from the beginning, okay?
yeah.
Finn, in the 10 years since, has never been able to get himself that over again. And that doesn't just happen by chance or happen because the office doesn't believe you. Like, it's as much as I love Dolph, it was the same scenario, right? Like, Dolph
Oh,
could
Dolph
not.
Lundgren.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%. Dolph's over Finn all the time. I don't care what anybody says. But, that's going to piss with people off. But at the same time, Dolph, love him to death, one of my favorites of all time. He couldn't get himself over to the level that he was in 2012, 2013. And that's just the fact of the matter. Like, that's why he was a jobber by the end of his career. So,
He's still around. Let's not make it seem like
well, I
he's
meant by
doing
the end of
jobs at
his
the YMCA.
no, I meant by the end of his WWE career,
Okay.
he was a
I
jobber.
was about to say, I think it's the world champ TNA.
No, I said, I like Nick Nemeth over in
Okay.
TNA, but
You just job you call him a
no,
jabroni, man.
I said by the end of his WWE career.
Okay, all right, all right. This match, by the way, CM Punk, Finn Balor,
Wait, wait,
Chicago.
wait,
Well,
wait, wait.
let me back it up. Let me back it up. We did have something to talk about before that. So go ahead, Mike.
The Bulls, the Chicago Bulls intro, chill. You ever seen the Brooklyn Nine-Nine clip where he's like, chills, literal
Yeah.
chills? Dude, I kid you not, that was one of like the best. That's one of the best things I've seen in WWE and probably like coming back to watching. Just the fact of like it being Punk and in Chicago and in the
In
United
the
Center
United
for the
Center.
second time
Not,
ever, like perfect
but not,
storm.
not even that though. They had the actual Bulls PA announcer, Ray Clay, do the introductions
Yeah.
for CM Punk. And that was the song name is Serious by the Alan Parsons Project, I think. Which there was a lot of people online. I didn't know this, Micah, but Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, his entrance theme in the mid '80s for the WWF was Serious by the Alan Parsons Project. And hold up now, stay with me.
I'm
Elimination
here.
Chamber. Elimination Chamber was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's birthday. So CM Punk, Ricky the Dragon got a long history. They worked together at ROH, and they worked together on the first couple Collision shows. Maybe it was a little nod to the Dragon too, Micah. You think?
I could see it. I don't doubt that at all. Especially being the historian that Punk is.
Yeah. I didn't know he came out to that music theme. I guess you
I,
you never, if you're a young fan, you couldn't know because they dub over all that during like the network days and home video days.
yeah, I didn't know that either. But I mean, I can believe it because it's a great song to be an entrance theme. I mean, it
Yeah,
was that for Jordan. It was that for Punk. Two goats, if you ask me.
in Chicago. Yeah.
Braun better though. But
Oh, of course. Yeah.
as far as the match goes, I just
Oof.
got one thing right now, and then I'll let you kind of get into it because I know you had some stuff you wanted to mention. I thought the coup de grace counter into a sharpshooter, excellent. I've never seen that before, and Punk did kind of bobble it a little bit. He couldn't get his foot out from under himself, but I thought that was a great counter to Finn's finisher.
You stole my spot, Mike. I was going to mention that. Yeah, it looked. I was concerned about Punk when he lifted his leg up. I thought, oh man, this ain't going to end well. But yeah, it was a very unique. I don't think I've ever seen a counter quite like that into the sharpshooter. So kudos to them for that. But I will say the crowd really, they really weren't into this match. like I would want them to be. And it's what you would expect with a Penn Balor match. You know he's not gonna win. He's gonna get a few hope spots, but at the end of the day, I mean, this was just an exhibition for Punk. This was just a warm up match before the real stuff happens. This is just the appetizer, and not even a good appetizer. Just like the maybe a chips and salsa. It's there.
Whoa.
It's not the queso dip. It's not the what do you mean? Whoa, you
Okay,
think
never
that's the main
mind.
event?
Never mind. You brought me back in with the queso
Okay,
dip. I
all
get your
right, yeah.
point now.
It's not the queso dip, but it's there. You'll have a few. You'll enjoy. Maybe you'll get another basket of chips, but yeah, it was there, and I thought their match in Ireland was a lot better than their outing here. But yeah, it was there. All I can say about it.
I did think the one in Ireland was better, just because it was the first time we had seen it as well. I still
Had
thought
more.
this was pretty good.
It had more heat to it as well. The Ireland match
Oh
when they had
yeah,
Belfast.
because I mean Punk got to play the heel there too, so that's always nice. But
Yeah,
I thought it was predictable. We knew what was going to happen, but I at least got pulled into it, and I felt like it had a great back and forth. Once again, Punk tells this story that I'm gonna sound like such a snob when I say this, but like the casuals cannot comprehend the levels that Punk is operating on. It sounds like glazed, but it's not because it's Punk. So Punk, like once again, the guy that's a step slower, he's older, he's less athletic than Finn, but he beats Finn with experience, with the struggle, with the never say die type attitude, which I know, oh, well, that's not what we like CM Punk for. We like CM Punk because he tells us how it really is. Like, brother, he's 47. Like, it's old man Logan. And if you can't get that, I don't know what to tell you. You just don't like wrestling. I'll just use the other people's defense. Uh, but I just think Punk is such a master at like conveying the struggle because these smooth brains come into my comments and they're like, "Bro, Punk looks horrible in there. Punk's washed. Like he can't like if you can't understand that's what he's trying to tell you, again, you just don't like wrestling." Uh Also, I thought Finn targeting the ribs the whole match leading into the coup de grace. I always like that kind of synergy in my matches because it just makes sense. And at the end of the day, CM Punk is the undisputed wrestler of the year right now. No debate. There is nobody close that is touching him. I don't care. Like, you can bring up Andrade. Andrade hasn't won anything. Yes, he's had good matches. So be it. That's not all you need to come to the dance. But, like, when Punk is the major selling point behind a pay per view in the United Center, drawing, able to convince TKO enough to pay for the Bulls theme and Ray Clay, and is the world champion, and has had two good or solid to good matches with Finn, a pretty solid match with Braun Breaker. Like the dude's just operating on a different level. So
and
yeah,
and the cover of WWE 2K26.
that too. So like that's what like Punk is the biggest star right now. Somebody in my comment section the other day like tried to refute me on the fact that like Punk has made the World Heavyweight Championship feel like the main title. And I said that was really evident when Roman selected him. He said, "I could pick you because you're on the greatest show. I could or the best show. I could pick you because you're the biggest star available, but I pick you because I hate you." But all those things are still true about Punk. And Punk ultimately feels like the top guy in WWE with a belt. So I'm sorry, like, get your Andrade, get your MJF out of here. It's not even close right now.
Well, no Sin Cara love, Micah.
Well, I don't watch CMLL, so I can't tell you how good or bad it is.
Well, he draws the most fans, Micah. So many fans come up to watch him at CMLL.
He can be the like the Observer does what is it, like the
The
Mexican
box office.
MVP? Yeah.
They do the box office attraction thing.
Like
Mexican box office attraction. Can we have that category?
yeah, there we go. Like I'm cool with that, but I think the level Punk's operating on right now from the TV products that we watch, which is the two mainstay North American pro wrestling companies, WWE and AEW, Punk wiping the floor with the competition.
He is. He is.
Maybe it's just glaze though. I don't know.
No, it's not.
But we'll move on to the men's elimination chamber match for an
Whoa, back it up.
undisputed.
No. Well,
How could I ever forget?
yeah. Well, hold up now. We're missing something. We're missing something.
I'll let you take the reins on this one.
You need to take it. Okay.
Ryan,
So they
Ryan,
were.
I know nobody can see him. Ryan has got his WWE hat on right now.
Yeah, I
His
got it.
Fedophile T-shirt. He's got
It's
his
there.
WWE logo tattoo right on the bicep.
Got
And
a
he's ready to
smile
break this
ear
one
to ear.
down.
I'm ready to spew the propaganda. So there we were. I think this was after the Punk Finn Balor match.
It was.
We get the reveal of what is in the crate of storyline and reoccurring segment that has been happening on the last couple of SmackDowns and Raws. And finally, at the last go home SmackDown before the Chamber, Nick Aldis said, just send it to the Chamber, and me and Adam will open it live in the ring at Elimination Chamber. Well, they didn't do it in the ring, Mike, but they did get it out to the stage, that being the crate. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis have crowbars. They're prying open this box like structure, as we call it. And there's a puff of smoke, there's darkness, and then out of nowhere, you hear a faint voice, and the crowd is confused. And then out the box comes 12 painted up dancers, and the logo on the Titantron changes, and it is revealed to be Danhausen. Out the crate he comes. Only he can come out that crate like that. He's walking and the ladies are dancing. The crowd is very confused. They get to the ring, they do the little dancey dance. Danhausen's still doing his posy pose. And then a little puff of pyro goes off. The lights go off. Danhausen disappears, the dancers disappear, and a chorus of boos ensues.
Back to your
And
regularly scheduled programming.
so, Micah, I say all that to ask you, how do you think they handled the angle? Let's just start with the angle. Not the guy,
Okay.
but the angle. Let's just start with that.
So you talking about the crate, like before we even got who it was gonna be, or like the initial crate entrance deal?
No, like how they handled it here. Not your thoughts on Danhausen personally. I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll talk about that afterwards. But how do you think they handled the initial debut?
I mean, for what they're going for, and for Danhausen himself, I don't really know what else you could have done. However, they didn't really explain anything about him, which I guess is depending on how you or who you ask, is for better or for worse. For one, you're gonna kind of wonder, maybe I'm not saying a lot of people. I think the people that were gonna watch Raw already were gonna watch it, but I don't know that like not explaining who he was benefited. At the same time, how do you explain who he
I
is?
I was just about to ask you, how do you explain the gimmick without having the gimmick explain itself? Like the crate thing. It was. I think we were fooling ourselves because I don't know if we predicted on the show, but I know initially I thought it was going to be a vessel to get Jericho back in the fold. But once they started having, Johnny Gargano hanging around the box and, Kit Wilson hanging around the box, you kind of knew there was going to be something comedy related.
Ease up on my
And
goat.
I'm just saying, Mike. I mean, you knew it was going to be comedy related with the company that the box was keeping, and it turned out to be comedy. And I think that's probably the only guy you can debut out of a box. That would make sense.
Oh, the Shockmaster wasn't your cup of tea?
Was he in a box? I don't think he was in a box.
I thought he was.
But
I thought that's where the whole anything that comes out of a box is over joke originates
no, sir.
from.
That's Chainsaw Charlie. I'll have you know. Chainsaw Charlie came out of a box.
Okay, well,
Yes,
to be
Chainsaw
fair,
Charlie
he was over coming out of the box.
There you go. There was an initial pop from Danhausen when I think they initially popped, but then it just turned to silence. And I think the crowd was disappointed that that's the only thing that he was doing is making an entrance. That's why the boos ensued.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the reason why he got showered with those boos. But I feel like he made it up for it. He being Danhausen the next Monday night on Raw with the backstage segment he had with the Judgment Day, which I thought was pretty entertaining.
I saw it make its rounds online. Before I get to that, actually, the best thing I can compare it to in terms of maybe leaving the fans wanting more. Do you remember when Chris Jericho returned with the light up jacket in like 2012?
Yeah.
Do you remember him coming out and just making an entrance and like circling the ring and he didn't say anything and then he left?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was pissed because I wanted to hear Jericho talk. Like he was a good promo. And then he just didn't say anything. What's that show up? Uh was it a Roman thing or was it a Stone Cold thing?
I know Roman had something like that, but Stone
Was
Cold
like
was like show up, raise some hell, and drink some beers.
yeah, and then leave or whatever. I think Roman's was like arrive,
Yeah.
wreck them or
wreck everyone.
wreck everyone,
Yeah,
leave. Anyways, but yeah, I mean that was the kind of like arrive, leave. Like there was just nothing to it. And so whenever you do that and you don't give like I don't even know what they would have done, but having him talk or maybe curse someone there might have went over well with the audience in the arena. At the same time, would they have even known what him cursing anyone is? I thought the segment on Raw came off pretty well, especially they did well to establish the curse with Dominic losing the belt not too long after. And like, I mean, so here's the thing, right? You know
Yeah.
how we are here on the pod. We don't like the goofiness in wrestling. But if you keep the goofiness outside of the ring and you don't make a mockery of the actual wrestling, then I'm fine with it. As long as it's
And
funny.
as long as it's not in the main event scene too. Like I don't want
Yes.
comedy as my main event program. But do you co-sign to the theory out there, Micah, that Tony Khan shipped Danhausen to WWE? Where do you fall in that?
I'm subscribing to that theory just because I think it's the funniest.
He had his no compete clause on the crate. You
Yeah,
can't
like the
open
little the little paperwork that you stick to the side of it so you know what's in the box.
That's crazy that they iced him out for that long. Because he has not been. I think the last match he has had on AEW television was like 2023 in like a battle royal. Like, can you believe that?
That sounds right, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean,
That's insane.
he was a Punk faithful. Like, that's.
But to ice somebody out for if you have nothing planned for somebody for that long, why not just let them go? Why keep them around for that long? And I know WWE gets a lot of hate online for maybe doing petty stuff with people's contract, but WWE usually don't ice you out for 3 years. They'll just cut you. They'll just release you.
Yeah, I mean, and if you ask me personally, I understand that it sucks for the guys to be out of a job. I cannot imagine. However, at least WWE cuts you loose and gives you the opportunity to go make a name for yourself. Like, for instance, Jakara Jackson, she got cut and went to TNA and has been on TNA consistently since then. Like, she is trying to make a name for herself. So, at least you do that for these guys, and then they potentially can get back to you and be more important or get back to maybe a different company. But instead, you just ice them. And, like, yes, you're paying them, but you're hurting prime years of their career by just not letting them do anything on the main show. And you're correct. It was a battle royale. December 30th, 2023 was the last match he had in AEW.
That's
He
insane.
had a handful in like GCW and some smaller promotions, but nothing that anybody really has, wrote home about.
And if you're a talent like that, where you want to get out of your contract, the last thing you want to do is to get hurt in a different promotion because then they can extend your contract.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword. So what do you do?
Sit on the shelf and collect money, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But, it's that thing of like, oh, Big Bad Evil Empire WWE, which, like, yes, I agree with you to a point. Let's not act like Tony Khan and AEW are just exempt of criticism about how they handle talent.
Yeah. Where's Camille? Where's
Yeah.
Wardlow? Wardlow still hurt?
Well, yeah, Wardlow's, my God, man. He's in rehab more than some of my relatives. But anyways, we'll see what WWE does with Danhausen. I'm sure they will find a way to make it work. I think they've already started with that.
I'm gonna give you a bold prediction right here. If he does backstage promos, backstage segments, maybe occasional in-ring stuff like a Miz TV, and occasionally has matches, he will be one of the most over guys on that roster. Levels above R-Truth. I'm telling you right now, he will be.
Initially, I was down on it, right? However, after seeing it Monday, I fear that you may be right. I can see it now. Like, it's the same thing. It's honestly the same thing with the list that Jericho had. Like, it's such a stupid gimmick on the face of it, but everyone loved it. And, like, you can just, everybody close your eyes right now, unless you're driving, unless you feel like living your life like that. Close your eyes and imagine, right, like him on Miz TV, and then Danhausen, Miz insults him, and Danhausen just picks his hands up, does the little point, everybody, oh, and then he's like, "You are cursed," and you can hear everyone in the arena chant that, like they will eat that crap up. So initially, while I was down on it, I do kind of have to back your opinion there.
You can tell the guys are, at least the locker room and Triple H, are big fans of what he brings to the table. So he will continue to be used and he will get over it big time. Calling it right now.
Well, hey, your guy, Mr. Dwayne, also was apparently a big fan of him. So,
is that right? It'll be in the next movie, huh?
If you ask the IWC, it pays to be a fan or a friend of the
Rockhausen?
Samoans. Rockhausen? I can see it. Dwayne Hausen. Oh,
Dwayne
Johnson Hausen.
Johnsonhausen. Okay, all right.
That one may. I don't even think that's PG. But we'll move on to the men's elimination chamber for a chance at the WWE Undisputed
Oh,
Championship at WrestleMania.
do we gotta?
We got to, I fear. We've got Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes versus Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus Logan Paul.
How long these entrances go on for, Micah?
I don't know. You told me to skip them. That there was nothing of importance here.
No, it went on almost as long as the entire match. These entrances.
That's crazy.
The stalling was insane for the entrances. Very frustrating to watch live.
I thought Trick's entrance was cool when he got up on the pod.
Yeah, but then after entrance 4 and Randy Orton's hitting his little posy pose for like 2 minutes, like that's I gotta step in, Chief. Like, come on now, let's get this
Yeah.
started. I
Hype
know my
moments and
guys'
aura.
legs are getting tired standing in that pod doing nothing. So can we hurry this up?
Well, hold on now. Maybe that's sound strategy.
Oh, they're tired their legs out.
Could be.
You know what? No, because Randy stood in that pod all match long, and then he proceeded to do nothing the entire match, just hit an RKO, and then that was the end.
I listen, man. I like Randy. I respect Randy. You know, I know we kind of given him the Blandy tag on here, but man, he is the definition of hype moments and aura. Like
At this
it,
stage, yeah.
yeah, like it is the same like 5 moves. Like he's not bad in there. You just know what you're gonna get with a Randy match.
Does bro take bumps anymore? I don't
No.
think he takes back bumps. People talking about carrying cross. Remember that came out that he didn't take back bumps? No, Randy Orton doesn't take back bumps, ladies and gentlemen.
No, all he does a back bump is for that fall away DDT.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, the crowd was really out of it, but this to me was like the most evident because this is the main event and like they needed a pulse check. Like it was
What?
dead
Yeah.
on that first lockup.
Well, hold up now, Micah. It's because you had 40-minute entrances. Of course, the crowd's gonna be iced out by the time the match starts.
Well, we just popped for the entrances here and the returns and the masked men.
I think they popped a little too much for the entrances.
They chanted "whoop that trick" too many times and it was never the same.
That is a catchy sing song effect to this song.
It is. I thought that Javon and Trick looked pretty good in here. I'm sure that a lot of the gripe people have coming out of this, and I can't exactly say that I disagree with them, was the Logan Paul eliminations. So initially,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say initially we got a deep dive on this, right? Logan getting Javon out. Okay, I'm not a big fan of it. However, I thought maybe that could build to a pretty good WrestleMania match. That was my initial thoughts. We'll get to some later things, but I thought, Javon and Logan both kind of have similar styles. It would be a high flyer. Like, it would get a lot of attention on Javon, and it would be a fun Mania match. Okay, I can kind of buy that elimination. Okay, then secondly, Logan Paul eliminates LA Knight. Kind of made me change my Javon prediction, but I was like, well, to be fair, LA Knight and him have been kind of going back and forth with the vision.
Shout out LA Knight, bless his heart. He got to retire that little jumping rope elbow drop he does.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
I was going to mention that as well. I almost didn't want to, but yeah, buddy. Triple H is going to have that burned into his mind for the next 6 months. So, yeah, just kick the can down the road.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because now he has that reputation of being like Jay Uso type botch merchant, and I hate to say Jey Uso's a botch merchant, but he
Damian
does have
Priest.
Damian Priest. Yeah, those guys do have a reputation, and of course, it's magnified when you're on WWE television when you make mistakes. But LA Knight has been putting in work in the ring, at least for his big matches. Like he had a good match with Fatu, had a good match with Logan Paul at SummerSlam, and I think he had another great match at one of the PL AJ Styles. He had a really great match with. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's only gonna be it's the only thing that's gonna be brought up about LA Knight now is how he botches all his top rope maneuvers.
Yeah. That's why I think, man, it's just work with
Stuff
what you're
happens.
good at. And but like Priest,
But
like that
stuff
nuked Priest's career.
Yeah, he ain't been the same since.
Oh, but I could get by with the Logan eliminating LA Knight second, right? Now, him eliminating Trick, that's where I draw the line. I thought that was a little egregious. I can get the other two, like especially with Logan being the only other heel really in the match. It was Logan and Trick. And so for Logan to get LA and Javon out, I understand. I can't make sense of why they would have Trick be eliminated by Logan. I would have much rather have been like Randy or Cody. Just to maybe be like, it had to be a main eventer. They got Trick out. And I'm
Well,
not saying that Logan Paul isn't main event, but he already had 2 eliminations.
let me step in here. I'm sure they had this all booked out before Braun Breaker had his hernia thing. So this spot was supposed to be Braun Breaker to eliminate these 3 guys. So they just plugged Logan Paul in that position because the other guy in the vision that you could feasibly see do this is Bronson Reed, which he got hurt too. So you had to give it to somebody in the vision.
But not Trick. I don't feel like that had to happen.
Yeah, I didn't have as much of a problem with it because I knew that Braun Breaker was supposed to be in that spot, and it put more heat on Logan in the ending sequence with the eventual reveal of the masked man.
I mean, I guess that part of it's true, but I don't know, man. Him eliminating Trick really did not sit right with me. And this is kind of where it just felt like the unperfect storm or imperfect storm. Uh and now we get to, the fun part of the show, guys. Um First off, you have a masked man try and jump into the chamber just to be pulled down by security.
He
They
tried. Oh, hold up! Now he tried to climb over the chamber.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna climb in there. What was that?
Isn't there? Isn't there a roof on the chamber? How was he gonna do that?
No, I thought there was a hole in the center.
Was he gonna jump over the hole?
No, you climb in like they did. What was that? Was it the Ultimate X cage match?
Yeah.
Remember they had to
It
climb
was
out
the
of that
lethal
hole.
lockdown. Was it lethal lockdown?
Maybe. They had to climb out of the hole, except they didn't realize
Yeah.
that guys would get gassed trying to climb out of it.
Oh, okay.
So,
I know what you're talking about. You talking about like
yeah.
big red cage they used to have?
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Lethal Lockdown. I'll find it in a minute, but I thought maybe that's what was going to happen. But
But wouldn't that be like? Why wouldn't you just get like some bolt cutters and just go through the door?
well, maybe he thought that whenever he was going
Whenever he
to,
shatters his leg jumping down on the mat that far up, then
yeah,
he's then you're gonna get the business, pal.
I think maybe he was trying to outsmart him. Right? It was called the Steel Asylum. That's what it was.
Steal the
Bright
side.
red cage.
Yeah.
But then when they cart him out of there, another masked man jumps in the ring with the odd shape of one Mr. Freakin' almost immediately. I think everybody could tell. Runs in the ring, kicks Logan in the stomach, curb stomps him, pulls the mask off, reveals that Mr. Freakin' himself, Seth Rollins, has returned and he's gotten his payback on Logan. What did you think about this initially, Ryan? And how do we feel going into Mania with the return of Seth?
Uh, I don't think it was a bad reveal necessarily. Very predictable, but that doesn't mean it was bad and predictable. It's just I don't. Michael Cole tried to play it up on commentary like, "Oh, the shock of the century," and how is it a shock when we've gotten guys on television saying that they know it's Seth Rollins, and the guy was doing Seth Rollins' signature move throughout this whole angle. So how is this exactly a shock, Cole?
Yeah, I think you could tell that he was trying to force it whenever he was like, heist of the century, ruse of the century, surprise of the century. Like, it really took him a minute because he realized he
Break,
couldn't.
yeah. Breaking news: guy that does Seth Rollins' finishing move is actually Seth Rollins. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, it was. I think I would have been a lot more. I would have been more positive overall if we just got that angle, and that's it. But when you get
Yeah.
two different angles in the chamber match and they leave the door open for 5, 10 minutes at a time, so more run-ins can happen, that's when it just becomes a little overbooked and a little messy. When Drew showed his face and he screwed over Cody, which he's gone on record saying that he's done with Cody, I might add, but he screwed over Cody again. Cody gets the upper hand on Drew, gives him a little crossroads. Cody thinks him and Randy are fool again, and Randy drops him with a picture perfect RKO and shocks the world by winning the Elimination Chamber match and pinning his old protege, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I think it was just it never got to that next gear with the chamber.
No, at all. Not at all.
I don't even know that we got to first gear, to really be honest with you. And then you just hit the roadblocks on the way that kind of killed the momentum of the actual match. And once again, like you're teaching your fans to not care until someone runs in or makes a surprise or does some type of, thing
But
that's not supposed to happen. And at the end of the day, the cage matches are about keeping those inside
yeah,
in, but also keeping what's outside outside. And
it
they just
it ruins the
violate that.
mystique. It ruins the mystique of the cage match when there's supposed to be no way in, no way out, no interference. And then it doesn't matter if we put a roof on it. It doesn't matter if we put barbed wire around it. Guys are gonna get into the structure, and run-ins are just supposed to be expected at this point. I hate it. I hate all the run-ins.
And uh, it's kind of, and we talked about a lot of this off air, but it's a problem with the cage match as a whole. I hate the run-ins. I hate the lack of violence in the cage. I
Yeah,
hate the fact that the rules of the cage are disrespected when someone runs in. So it's like a double fold because you get your initial run in, which we have a problem with, but then you're running in a cage match, which is not supposed to happen. And so it's one thing that happens every now and then, but this literally happened last year. I almost want to say it happened the year before at Elimination Chamber. So again, like I don't care. I know somebody's going to run in. That's what you're telling me. But like, so you remember the first Elimination Chamber or the first few, guys would like rake the guy's face over the chain. We didn't get that. You got them like slamming each other into the pod. Raquel had like a cool power slam in the women's match that I'd like to shout out that I forgot about. But even then, like it didn't feel like Goldberg spearing
it did.
Chris Jericho through the pod like how it used to.
Yeah, the glass or whatever they're using now, it just feels like plastic. Like, it just doesn't feel dangerous. And when you were saying earlier, Micah, about the lack of violence, I just think they went through the motions in this match. It just feel like this was the most tame elimination chamber match of all time. It wasn't like bad. It just was there. It just happened.
Yeah. I don't even really remember guys getting slammed on the outside a whole lot.
Yeah, it just seemed like everybody is on edge with all the injuries. There has been a lot of injuries with especially the Raw side of the equation, but maybe guys just didn't want to risk it this close to WrestleMania. Just don't have the match then. We don't need a chamber match every year. I think it's time
No.
to hang up this concept as a yearly thing. You know what would have been a great time to roll out Elimination Chamber, Micah?
What's that?
It would have been at WrestleMania to have Drew McIntyre defend his title in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. And then you can have guys go all out because it's Mania.
Yeah, yeah. And it would make sense because Drew has been kind of meddling with a lot of people on the SmackDown roster. So what would a good what would a GM do in that situation to stick it to his heel that's actually his world champion, his top heel? He's gonna put him in a match where he can get his comeuppance, and that's in a chamber match with all the guys he's done wrong. And you would have had a
Yeah.
reason to do it.
And not only that, but it makes it way more unpredictable going into
Yeah,
Mania. You could have seen any of those guys walking out with the belt.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, now we're here. Now we got Drew versus Randy looming. However,
Oh,
we've got Cody versus Drew this Friday on SmackDown.
yeah. So after the show, after Elimination Chamber, Nick Aldis announced on, I think that was it might have been the post thing that they do, said that Drew is going to be facing Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. And by the way, this is crazy that we're getting back to back months with WWE title matches on a weekly show.
Yeah.
That's insane. But is making SmackDown must see this Friday because I want to see how they get out of this. But do you think, Micah, that we go to the easy story to tell, which is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton?
Yeah. 100%. I
Uh,
think that they're pulling the title off Drew because I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background.
they're not fans
Uh,
of my book.
yeah, no. Apparently, they're not friends of Cody versus Randy, and neither am I. I think that, and I was talking about this with a buddy of mine the night of. I love Drew McIntyre, but Drew versus Randy does not
Yep.
feel like a WrestleMania main event, and I just don't. I don't know of a scenario right now that Drew does fit into the main event. So I feel like they're going to run Cody versus Randy, and then maybe you get a Drew versus Jacob in a street fight at Mania or something like that. I hate it for Drew. I don't think it's any fault of his own. I just think that Triple H really hasn't done a great job of booking him as champion. And then again, it's been a short reign. I mean, he's only had a chance to really interact with two other guys, but yeah, I mean, fantasy booking in hindsight 2020, an elimination chamber 6-man with Drew maybe replacing like Logan in that scenario. Uh wow. You know what I mean? Any of those guys could walk out of that and you wouldn't really be shocked.
I can see the way that they've been booking SmackDown over the last couple months because now you got Aleister Black that was interacting with Randy Orton. It doesn't seem like their program was. It didn't seem like that was ending anytime soon. And you still got Drew and Cody with their problems. Jacob Fatu is still around the way, looming, and you got Sami Zayn element. And he's been interacting with Cody Rhodes. It seems like we're building to a something, a 6-pack challenge, maybe a championship scramble. I don't know if an Iron Survivor is something that they want to do at this moment, but it's seeming like we're building up to a big multi-man match.
And I mean, I'm good, but like, it honestly makes me mad because, like you said, if they did the Elimination Chamber, like this is just a much more palatable match to me than trying to see Cody versus Randy again. Because I know it's going to be the most 3-star match you've ever seen. But let's take 6 guys. Let's give Drew, Cody, Randy, Trick, Jacob, and then you could throw it with that last spot. You could throw Sammy in there. I'm sure
Oh,
there's some other.
no love for Aleister Black.
Yeah, you could throw
He's still
Aleister
got
Black in there.
He still got problems with Randy.
So that's what I'm saying. That's 6 guys right there. That's like literally any of them could walk out of WrestleMania with that belt,
If
and I don't think it would
if you
surprise anyone.
if you had to book a 6-way match, Micah, what type of stipulation are you booking? Are you going Armageddon Hell in a Cell? Maybe a 6-pack challenge, championship scramble. Any of those stand out?
I do a Hell in a Cell. I mean,
Armageddon
it
Hell in a
sounds
Cell?
like really fantasy booking out there playing, but it would be crazy for the in arena fans, and it would be crazy to see that again since it's been how long since the last one?
26 years. 26
So
years.
I think it would be fun, especially in a stadium that big.
What's your gut feeling telling you? Is it Randy and Cody?
Oh yeah, Randy Cody is going to main event night 1, and Jacob and
Oh
Drew will
no,
have some type of street
that's,
fight.
I don't. That's main event now.
What's going to get your other? What's the other main event? Jade Rhea?
I'm Danhausen and Miz, of course. The
Oh
Miz
yeah,
TV segment.
turned your Fed hat backwards now. Now we're really cooking.
One of the Miz TV segment to end night one.
We do sports entertainment over here.
Make movies, pal.
But out of 10, Ryan, what would you give Elimination Chamber, and what is your match of the night?
I'd probably give this a 4. It was a 4 show. Kind of a thumbs in the middle for me. It had a lot of it had a lot to live up to, the Elimination Chamber, because last year's was so memorable and so good. But comparing that to this year is night and day. So give it a 4. And I think my probably the best match of the night for me, probably the women's chamber. I think that was the most action packed match, but even that wasn't great. It was just there, average.
Yeah, I'll personally give match of the night to the Finn versus Punk match. That's just I enjoyed it. Maybe it's just my Punk bias coming through. I gotta take my role as #1 Punk Glazer. Out of 10, I'm gonna match you. I'm gonna go 4. It was not great. It was not even good. It was just there. There were some things I liked, but for the most part, it was just blase. You didn't really have to watch it. And so, kind of following like after the Rumble, which I gave a 7 out of 10, and I did enjoy most of it, this just really felt like a letdown to me. Uh, Especially with kind of an unpredictable chamber, which I mean, the run-ins were unpredictable, but that bogged it down. Um, we're kind of running a little long here, so we'll talk about a little Raw. Punk and Roman had a big face-off once again, lots of jabs, but the main one coming out was Punk saying that he was going to bury Roman next to his father. Uh, Ryan, what do you have initially? And I would like for everybody who said that this feud wasn't going to be great to promptly eat crow.
Yeah, it's just they are continuing to raise the bar as far as their in ring promos. I don't know if this one was on the same level as the last one, but the ending line of CM Punk threatening to bury Roman Reigns next to his recently deceased father was it was something that you kind of like, oh wow, they went there. But the people that wanted to see PG Punk drop the PG and all shucks feel to turn back into the voice of the voiceless, you got it on Monday because he was kind of heelish at that ending line there.
Yeah, once he fired up and grabbed Roman's arm, you could tell like he was about to spit something. I thought it was excellent. But you know me, I kind of gave my spiel about Punk already. But again, my biggest thing is they're like, oh well, we don't want PG Punk, not all shucks Phil. You kind of got to have somebody that CM Punk can joust with on the mic. And most of these guys today, he can just run down. So that's why you get all shucks Phil. But Roman is one that can go back and forth with him.
It felt real too. They're back and forth.
Oh yeah. And I'm expecting Roman to fire back with some Larry jokes next week, but that's neither here nor there.
Somebody say you got to show up at the pet cemetery like John Cena did in that backstage promo in like 03 against the Undertaker.
You know what? We can talk about parents all we want, but I draw the line at the dog.
Yeah, that's it for me. Oh man, can you imagine? He come out with Larry's ashes.
Oh man. And see, that's what I remember when the whole Taker Punk feud was going on and people got so offended by that, even though Paul Bearer's family allowed it. I thought that joke was such peak heel work, man. Rubbing the ashes on him, pouring it on. That was just evil.
It was great though.
Oh yeah. And before we get out of here, shout out Penta, a new Intercontinental Champion after Danhausen's curse, beating Dominic Mysterio, the first masked wrestler to win the Intercontinental Championship since I believe 2009. Rey Mysterio.
Imagine saying that December 2024. Pentagon pins Dominic Mysterio, the reigning AAA World Champion.
Yeah.
In the main event after Danhausen curses Dominic Mysterio. Imagine saying that December of 2024.
It is a crazy wrestling landscape we currently live in. Is this especially crazy for you watching Lucha Underground all those years and thinking wow,
that these guys actually made it? Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because I think I watched first season of Lucha Underground, but you always told me Penta was booked Stone Cold down there. So just to see him come all the way up is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It is, bro. It was a good main event too.
Yeah, it really was. And it was a good moment. The people were there for it, unlike they were in Chicago. But people
they blew their entire pyro budget too at the end of the show. I don't know if you stuck around for that, but
oh yeah, I did. Hey, Penta deserves it.
He got the Royal Rumble pyro treatment. It went on for 7 minutes.
Yeah, point to the sign. I'm taking the Intercontinental Championship to WrestleMania. But ladies and gentlemen, don't be like the Chicago crowd. Come back. See us next week. We'll be back to break down a full weekly review. And then we'll have some Revolution predictions as well, because next weekend is Revolution. But before you get out of here, oh yeah, pal, strap in for 6 hours. This weekend is the release of WWE 2K26. And I will be getting the early release edition. So come hang out with us Thursday night. I'll be live. Ryan, I think we'll hash it out a little bit more about plans to stream together. But yeah, come join us at Scoop Slam Pod on TikTok. And if you're not following us there already, I don't know why you're behind, but make sure you go do that. Like I said, come back next week. Take care of yourself. And have a good one.